Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Khaled. May peace and blessings be upon you all.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your brother Wasim. May Allah shower his blessings on all of you all.
And inshallah, what we're going to do today in this little video, we're going to do a nice little Imam revival or booster just by 6 tips that me and Wasim think are important for success, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all searching for in this dunya, in this life. That's it. We're looking for success in this life and in the next. So, you know, what can we do in order to attain that success, and what things do we need to keep in the forefront of our mind? So, Wasim's going to start off. I'm going to give you 6 points, and inshallah you can benefit from these.
Inshallah. So yeah, the first point for me, inshallah, is personal development. And when we say personal development, it's a very, very wide subject, because a lot of things come under it, such as the mindset, the way you feel, the way you think, etc. I think it's very, 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 very important and vital that you have the correct mindset. And especially to the way you think, the way how you deal with things, and also with the sort of people that you hang around. I mean, for me, my mindset, how it was a couple of years ago and to how it is now, has drastically changed. And I'll give you an example. Every time a situation would happen, I would just be so like demotivated. I wouldn't want to do anything. My mind wasn't in the right place. My mind was in such a state where I almost felt like giving up. Now, obviously, as Muslims, we all know that giving up ain't an option. Stress, they say stress is for the disbelievers, stress is for the people that don't have faith, stress is for the people that don't have taqwa in Allah, stress is for those who are weak. Yeah. I think it's important that as ourselves, we focus on ourselves first and foremost, you know, developing ourselves, knowing what we're good at, knowing our attributes, knowing what we're capable of. Because when you don't know that, you fall for nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, you fall for nothing. You don't know who you are. You don't know that you're capable of doing something. I mean, earlier on, me and my brother Khaled was talking, and he gave an absolutely amazing example of an elephant in the circus. I mean, if you can reiterate that for them, my brother Khaled.
I was giving the example of obstacles that we place in our minds as to who we think we are and what we think we're capable of, and how that's pretty much where the only place they ever do exist is in your mind. For example, when elephants in the circus, you'll see these huge, amazingly sized elephants in circus, and they'll have this little rope around their neck, attached to a stake in the floor, and then everyone in their right mind knows that in an instant this elephant could just done off the whole circus and kill everybody and just completely just end it all. But what happened is, when the elephant was young, they put a large rope around when it was an elephant, and a big stake into the ground. So for the first, you know, when it's young, it struggles and it tries to get out and it can't. So when it gets older, what's happened, this elephant's been conditioned to think that this rope can hold it back. But really, all that it needs for the elephant to do is to just try it again, and obviously that he'd break free from the rope. But that's metaphorically we can obviously take the example from that in terms of obstacles that aren't really obstacles, but we've just placed them upon themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's what Wasim's talking about in terms of personal development and getting your mindset right into thinking positive, and to not let this, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's waswas from the shaitan, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's this whispers into your ear, saying you know you can't do this, or you're not at this level, or you know
101 excuses as to why you shouldn't do something.
Yeah.
And that's why us young people, we don't get far. It's because of the 101 excuses. Oh no, man. Even we make excuses of the weather. Like, why are we making excuses of something we do not have control over? The only thing that we should have control of is what we should care about, and that's stuff like ourselves. You know, like getting up and wanting to being around the right people, controlling our minds and being strong and firm. Once we do that, I mean, I'm talking from experience. A lot of people, you know, like you can hear from someone saying, oh yeah, I read this book and this and that and this and that. But I'm talking based on experience. Like, once you actually learn to know yourself and believe in yourself, that's the first steps. Once you know your capability and you don't think to yourself, no, I can't do it. Why can't you do it? What is the reason you can't do it? Why? You've got a brain. You've got everything to do it. Why can't you do it? And that's what makes us move. That makes us not want to do it, because we make the 101 excuses, which are pathetic excuses for us not to move on.
You know, that brings me nicely to my second point. Tawakkul in Allah. Tawakkul is trust in Allah, and knowing that He. I mean, people say the Shahada. You know, La ilaha illallah. You know, there is no deity, there is no God except Allah. And then what this entails should be, I mean, if you really believe it, then you know that there's things you can't control and they're in Allah's hands, and He is the only one who can can change these things. There's things we can control, you know, about how hard we work and choices. Obviously, you have free will, but things like that are out of control. First of all, we need to realize that these things are out of control, so we need to stop stressing over them. Because the amount of things people stress about, they ain't got no control over. It's just like, it don't make sense. It's not logical to be stressing about these things that you have not even a little bit of control, some influence, zero control. And that's part of Islam, is submitting. It's not just submitting your will to Allah, but it's submitting your worries. Like, because you know, the stress is not for the believers. It's because if you are a true believer, you know, not only is it not in your control, but you say Alhamdulillah that it's His control, because He's the best. He is the best of planners. It says that in the Quran. Indeed, you know, Allah is the best of planners.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing that affects us or hits us or anything that we may think is bad at the time that it's not for our good. Maybe we don't see it straight away. I'll give you an example. One time when I was unemployed, I was obviously trying to get a job, and I was trying. My mum was, you know, giving me pressuring me, because she needed money. So, you know, times were peak. And then so I finally got a job as a after months of searching, I finally got a job, alhamdulillah, as a you know, when prisoners come out of jail, in terms of rehabilitating them back in society. So it's a good job as well. Told my mum, mashallah, she was so proud. She's like, oh, alhamdulillah, you know, we was all happy, the whole house was happy, like I finally got a job. So I got the job. It's not like, you know, I got an interview and then I had the job. They said, yeah, you passed it, amazing. So I'm all, you know, feeling happy about myself, feeling good. And I got home, and then 2 days later I got a call saying the program that I used to get the job, it wasn't for the people who lived in my area, basically. So they had to take the job away from me. Now, I could have gone two ways about this. I could have been like, what, you know, this bit, like, what the hell, it was my job, you know, I deserve this job, and you know, how dare you take it away from me, and this bitterness and this anger. Or I could have took the road that I did take, which is, I said alhamdulillah, because this job was not meant for me. And you know what happened? A week later, I got another job as a care worker, and I've been in this job for the past 2 years, and it's been one of the best jobs I've ever had in my life. All my friends work there. It's chilling, but in terms of what it's done for me, in terms of me helping people with learning disabilities and autism and things like that, it's been one of the best jobs. But at the time, I didn't see this happening, so I had this trust in Allah that He was going to give me something better. So when you're making dua to Allah for whatever it is, whatever your situation may be, and you're making dua to Allah, you know, Allah, Ya Allah, give me this, Ya Allah, give me that. It's about, you need to have that certainty that He is going to answer, not necessarily the way that you want it to be answered, because you don't always, you may think something's good, or you may think it needs to go this way, but Allah is Azza He knows what it needs to be. So it's about giving up, submitting, and knowing whatever you get from your dua, when He answers it, it's for your it's the best thing that could possibly happen to you. So say alhamdulillah for everything that happens.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what my brother Khaled said. It's amazing. I mean, we've all gone through experiences. I mean, going back to what he was saying about the rehabilitation, I was one of those people that needed rehabilitation. Recently, Allah put me through a test, a major test, where I was one of those people that needed rehabilitation. He put me in a place where I was alone by myself, you know, and he gave me time to think. And say to myself, and said to me, and he said to me, okay, who are you gonna call on now? You're by yourself now. Yeah, the real recognized real now. Who are you gonna call on? It's only me and you in this room now. No friends. You know, no friends was there to feel my sorrow and to feel my stress. And the only person, Allah was the only person there that was there for me. You know, it was only Allah. This is going back to the point of what my brother was saying about taqwa. It was only Allah that I could call on. It's only Allah that I could call on. So in the times of need, we shouldn't only, it's not only then that we should have taqwa. Like we should always try and remember him in times of good. You know, like when my brother said when Allah he took that away from him and replaced it with something better. He then even appreciated it and you know what I mean? Thanked Allah for the goodness that he gave to him. Moving on to this moves on to the next point, inshallah, and that is salah. Now we all know that the salah is bananas. I say it's bananas because the reason why I say it's bananas is because it's hard. And as us young people who are trying to strive and be ambitious, and you know, we've all got big goals and big dreams. Like we all want to get married, you know, like in our daytime, you know, we're working and we find it hard. Yeah, we find it hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, brothers and sisters, I find it hard. But the best of us is the ones who try and, you know, who try and keep our salats. You know, 5 times daily salats. I'm not trying to say, my brothers and sisters, that yeah, I pray my 5 times daily salats on time, all the time. Yeah, Shaitan always tries it with us. Shaitan tries, and he will continuously try it with those who will try it and remember Allah 24/7. He will continuously test you. If he doesn't test you for your friend, he'll test you for your wife. If he don't test you for your wife, he'll test you for your kids. If he don't test you for your kids, he'll test you for your job. For your job, for your car, through what? He will test us. But it's for the strong ones. The strong ones is the ones who will be under the arsh of Allah. Because one of the people that are going to be under the arsh of Allah is the one that's spent their youth serving Allah. It's the ones that spent their youth serving Allah. Now I'm not trying to say that, oh, let's write off dunya, nah, don't be this, that. All I'm trying to say, brothers, is our salah is the key.
It's balance as well. You don't need to go to any extremes of thinking you can't have nice things like nice cars and, you know, subhanAllah, we're in a very nice car now. Alhamdulillah. But in terms of you can go one extreme where you're going completely religious and then you're writing off the dunya, or then some people go all the way to the dunya and they're not religious. This religion is about balance.
Absolutely. Like our religion is about balance. It's a way of life. I mean, don't want to swerve off to the point of salah, but check, for instance, look back at our Prophet's days, bro. They had the baddest horses, the Arabian horses, beautiful, big horses, black, nice, and they comb their hair, they maintain their. This is our horses today is our vehicles, huh? Yeah. I mean, not trying to compare it, but if you understand what I'm saying, our horses today is our vehicles.
The horsepower.
The horsepower. They're measuring up brake horsepower. This is our horses. Prophet Yusuf, one of the most handsome of prophets, huh? Maintained, handsome. We have to stay handsome. We have to look nice. Not haram to look nice. You know what I'm trying to say? Back to the point of salah, my brothers and sisters. But may Allah make it easy for us. But if we're wondering why we're stressing, wondering why doors ain't opening, wondering why all my days this keeps happening to me and that keeps happening to me, and you're not praying your salah.
Yeah, check your salah, man. Things ain't going well, check your salah. There's a shortage in your life, check your salah. Even if you are doing it, are you doing it how it's meant to be done? Are you paying attention to the words that you're saying? Do you have that khushu' in your salah, that concentration, that focus? Because believe me, brothers and sisters, when you start attaining that and you start reconnecting with the salah, believe me, brothers and sisters, believe your life, you'll start seeing the changes. But it comes upon you to do something. You can't ask Allah to be giving you these things and you're not giving him what he has asked of you. Allah has what's the word when he says, I forgot the Arabic word, but the shyness in terms of when a believer holds his hands out to Allah. He has a shyness if the believer was to take his hands back and Allah had not given him anything. He wants to give. What I'm saying, but we have a right over Allah. He said this. There's a right that we have with Allah, but there's rights that Allah has over us, and one of them, the most important, is the salah. It's 5 times a day. Don't build the salah around your life. Build your life around the salah. It's like 25 minutes all added up together if you know the wudu and the prayer. If that, 25 minutes out of 24 hours, brothers. and sisters. Subhanallah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, it's that brings us on to the next point, inshallah, and that's, you know, like Quran and Hadith, having knowledge about these things, you know, because Quran is the manual to life. I tell you something, my brothers and sisters, when I was young, about 13, 14 years old, my dad sent me to boarding school, and out of me, my brothers, my sisters, I was the one sent, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my days, I'm young. You know, like, I'm young, like, why has dad sent me to boarding school? Like, what, he hates me. He hates me. Why has he sent only me? Like, why me? Why me? Why me? But the boarding school that he sent me to, my brothers and sisters, was a boarding school to learn Quran and Hadith, becoming Hafiz, Alim, you know, more knowledge about Islam. At this time, as youth, we're blind to these things. We think that, nah, man, not learning Quran is the in thing. Having Nikes was the in thing. So that's what my head was on, having them Nikes, not becoming an Hafiz. Alhamdulillah, after 2.5 years, I became an Hafiz. At that time, I still didn't realize what Allah had blessed me with, learning the Quran. You know, learning the Quran. I still didn't realize what Allah was like. Cool, yeah, I know the Quran, only till my recent situation, when I was saying I was away and Allah took me and gave me a very big test, is when I realized that the only time you'd ever find peace and tranquility is when you read the Quran, yeah? And not only that you read the Quran, you understand it. My brother and sister, I'm not trying to say that I understand the Quran, because you can never, no human in his right mind, with the brain that Allah's created with, can ever fully understand the Quran.
That's why it starts a lot of the chapters of Alif Lam Mim.
Exactly. You will never fully understand it. But for those who read, we all know the rewards of when you read Quran, the alphabets, the 10 rewards, and etc. And this gives us protection as well. It protects us from the shaitan. It protects us from all this, from the evil eye. We have Ayatul Kursi that we must recite. It protects us from all these things. You know, we stay under the protection of Allah 24/7. We read Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas before we go to bed. We stay protected all the way to Fajr, and then we do the same again, and we stay protected throughout the whole day. We know these things. The Quran is a manual. The Hadith, we have stories of the prophets, that whatever situation that we are in, that we can turn to and say, oh, okay, let me see how the prophets and these companions dealt with this situation. Or let me see how a person who had a problem with this situation, when he asked the prophet, what did the prophet say? It's very important that we know what our religion is about. It's very important. Very, very important that we know what our Quran is about. We try and learn the Quran. You know, it's easy, my brothers, it's easy. But we take 101 excuses, oh, it's a different language and this, nah. Like, we start off with the alif, ba, ta, with the basic alphabets. Then you join them. My brothers and sisters, the joy of learning how to read the Quran, nothing else has ever been much more beneficial and amazing in my life. Never. Nothing can beat it. Nothing. You could give me however much money in this world, it wouldn't it wouldn't be no comparison to me knowing the Quran, because that is just a blessing in itself.
Yeah, for real. Subhanallah. So even myself, you know, I'm on the road now, inshallah, to learning the Quran, learning like I said, the alif, the ba, ta. I'm putting the effort in. You see what we talk about here, even though I might not be on this level of someone who can, you know, recite Quran to, you know, a beautiful level and even understand it. But what I'm doing, I'm putting in that effort. I've got that intention, that niyyah, that my intention is, you know, it's that ikhlas, the sincerity in my intention. So which brings me to my next point, is about the power of dua. Now a lot of people think, I think a lot of Muslims think, or they fail to realize the power of dua, of asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things. And obviously we've said before, you know, you can't really be asking him and complaining when you're not receiving it, when you're not, you know, doing what he's telling you to do, the salat and stuff. And then obviously what happened, the tawakkul and the trust when he gives you when he answers your dua, and having the trust in what he gives you from that. But also, and it's something that I learned recently, is like your dua can have power, and sometimes maybe what can lead to a dua not being answered is that it doesn't have enough power. So the example that I'm going to give is if you make dua to Allah for something to happen, but in your heart, the heart behind the dua, it is like Allah, he might be able to do it, he might not, hopefully, but I'm not. If you're giving this 50-50 wibbly wobbly dua, what do you think's gonna come back? There's 100% no. You're gonna get that wibbly wobbly 50%, if even the answer, if that at all. You need to have that 100% sincere trust and knowledge that Allah is going to answer the dua. And there's a thing that's out there, a lot of people know, it's called the law of attraction, and it's what it's primarily it's not anything to do with Islam in how it's marketed. They replace the word Allah for the universe, and they say it's the law of the universe. But we as Muslims, we know what it is. It's the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works. If you're giving out that 100% conviction, and you know that this is what Allah is going to bless me with, and not even in just dua, say if you're in a situation and it's looking like some harm could come to you, or you're scared or something, when you know 100% that Allah is the provider, Allah is the one who protects, Allah is the one who is sufficient for those who believe in Him, that's when the true beauty of Islam comes into your life, brothers and sisters. And it's very important that we have this sincerity and this 100% trust in Him. And it's hard to do. It is hard to do, because the waswas from the shaitan, the whisper from the shaitan will tell you, nah, I ain't gonna help you in this situation. Nah, you need to do this, or you need to rely on this guy, because this guy is gonna. You can't rely on people. You can't rely on people, on businesses, on a company. Like, even if Apple were to give you a job and or bless you, or we're going to give you money, or give you an opportunity or something like that. Apple, one of the biggest businesses in the world. Do you think a penny is going to hit your bank account without the permission of Allah? When we really realize this and really contemplate over this, and we realize that nothing comes to us without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and having the faith and trust, when that combines with the dua, that's when your dua start becoming powerful. That's when they start getting answered, and you start seeing the beauty of this religion. Subhanallah.
MashaAllah. That brings us on to the point.
The last point.
Risk.
Risk, yes. Yeah, yes.
That brings us on to the point of risk. Provision. What Allah has ordained for us is what will happen. However much Allah has said, yes, Wasim, you're going to make £1. That's all we're going to make. But that doesn't make us think that, Allah said I'm only gonna, whatever's written's written, so I'm just gonna kick back and wait for a door to open. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't.
Effort. You need that effort. You put that effort in order to get that risk. He's ordained for you. And even if your approach is, I'm gonna kick back and not do anything and wait for whatever's gonna come to me, that was what was written. That you're not going to get a lot, because that's your attitude. If your attitude changes and you think, like I said, but it kind of all these points kind of come together about your attitude and your mindset, and your intention and your trust,
work ethic, your effort.
All of it comes together, and then to bring you to the knowledge that whatever is going to be ordained for you in terms of risk or provision, food, money, wealth, homes, shelter, things like that, it's already been written for you. So you don't need to be stressing about how's it gonna come, or my job, my boss ain't gonna pay me, or this person owes me money, or he ain't gonna give me the money. Don't get it twisted. You need to put in that effort in order to do it.
Absolutely.
You gotta put in that effort, but ultimately, once you've put in that effort, that's all Allah wants. So don't be stressing about how it's gonna come. Just know full well that it is going to come. When you put in that effort and that trust and that reliance upon Allah, it is going to come. There is no way that it is not going to come, because Allah has said it's going to come to you. He's already written in it. The ink has dried. Okay, finish.
Kalas.
Finish, is done.
In Nigerian we say otito. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't need to be stressing about that. You're stressing about something that's already been we can get a kind of idea in it. When we watch movies and say a horror movie, for example, and or even a drama or something with films with twists in it, we know that the film and the movie has already been shot. It's already been shot. It's been done. It's finished. Cut, finished, back, done. But we'll still anticipate the next part of the film, like, oh, this is gonna happen, or this is gonna happen. But when we fully know the end result. It's like knowing the end of a movie, but then still being stressed about whether the main character's gonna die. If you know if you know the synopsis of the movie and the main character is not going to die, it gives you that trust. Even though you don't know how he's gonna get out of this burning building, or how he just got shot 5 times and what's gonna happen now, you know at the end of the film that he's going to survive. That's just a little metaphor just to kind of make you understand. We know what Allah, because Allah has told us. Allah has told us what's gonna happen. He's told us the end of the film. So that's why stress doesn't need to come in it, because we know what's gonna happen at the end. And that's why the stress is not for the believers. The stress is for the kuffar or the disbelievers. So we need to keep this in mind. But to wrap it up,
inshallah, I hope this video has benefited me, myself, inshallah, and my brother Khaled, and the rest of us, and my brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, this is not just for the brothers, this is for a reminder for all of us, even you sisters. I mean, my brothers and sisters, change the mindset. If you have a mindset where it's telling you, listen, no, I can't do it, change that. As youths, we shouldn't have that mindset. At youths, we shouldn't have that mindset. Change that. If you have that mindset that is telling you, oh, I can't do it, or you're around people that says that, they can't, change your crowd. Change your crowd. Because going back to one point, I remember, may Allah forgive me if I'm wrong, it was a hadith or something, where there was a man who used to hang around, he had wrong company. And then the Prophet said to him, well, listen, if you're working in a place with a horseshoe, you're going to come out smelling like horseshoe.
Yeah. The blacksmith.
The blacksmith. And if you're working in a place with perfume smelling nice, you're going to come out smelling nice. And I use that point to say, if you're hanging around people that's not got ambitions and don't want to succeed in this life and in the akhirah, then X them off. Because if you hang around with people who are ambitious and they have great aura and they have great energy around them, they're always lively and they always put their trust in Allah, you will succeed, my brothers and sisters. You will succeed, you know. And just let's try our hardest to keep our 5 times daily salah, you know, show respect and honor to our older ones, as the Prophet's always said, you know, show respect to our mothers and stuff. As we all know, our Jannah is beneath our mother's feet, you know, and all these things we already know. So I don't want it to seem like we're preaching, my brothers and sisters, because we go through this every day.
It's a reminder to ourselves as well. So don't think that we're perfect and we're some sheikhs or thing like that. But you know, we have some knowledge, so we want to share it with you, and we're the first people to benefit from the knowledge. And Ya Allah, may Allah forgive us if we've said anything that isn't true or anything that's offended anyone. Know that our intention is to bring the ummah together and to make
unite the
youth of Islam.
I want to be one of the youth under the house of Allah, and I surely want to see the rest of my brothers and sisters.
All of you out there, inshallah. May we all be reunited in Jannah for those, inshallah. Until next time.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قصصا هنا أحلام ترويها لينسج للعلا قصصا هنا أحلام